From a distance, a father and son are enjoying the surf, but this is no ordinary pair. Meet John and his son Max. Max happens to have Down syndrome. And the father is John C. McGinley, the award-winning Hollywood actor. From the stage to blockbuster movies like Platoon, Point Break, and Any Given Sunday, to his standout role as Dr. Cox on the Emmy-nominated TV show Scrubs. No doubt, John has had an incredibly successful acting career.
I went to NYU and got out the grad school in '84. 2 weeks before I graduated, I auditioned to understudy John Turturro. When I was covering for John, somebody from Oliver Stone's casting company came down and they saw me in the play and they asked me if I wanted to audition for Platoon. 2 years later, I got to play a major role in the film.
John's credits include over 60 feature films, including 6 Oliver Stone films and award-winning independent films. In 1997, he became a father for the first time. They went to the hospital expecting a baby girl, and then came Max.
When he came out, not only was he a boy, but he also had Down syndrome. I didn't have any idea what that meant, other than I knew it was a challenge. And so then the sky started to fall. You think it's the end of the world.
Despite the initial shock, John was instantly bonded and committed to Max.
First thing that happened when Max was born, when we were in the hospital room a couple hours later, is that some guy from the state came and told us that if we wanted to institutionalize the child and we didn't have the money to do it, the state could do that for us. And I kicked him out of the room.
Max's early days were not easy ones.
We ended up staying for 3 or 4 weeks in the NICU with his sleep apnea and infantile seizures. It was rough around here, but those abated. From there, Max has been on a pretty steady developmental curve.
And Max wasn't the only one on a developmental curve.
Max's birth profoundly impacted the way I feel about people with disabilities. Max showing up with the special needs package that he arrived with has compelled me to join different groups. It's gotten me involved.
Max was also instrumental in helping Dad bring depth to his role as Dr. Cox in Scrubs.
Scrubs was a great pilot on the page, and there was a really eccentric, damaged character. I gave Cox a much bigger heart, and I took that from Max. What I borrowed from Max was a sense of compassion.
And John is active, initially representing the Buddy Walks, then Special Olympics. He is a key spokesperson for ending the hurtful and hateful term retard, or as he says, the R word.
I feel like at some point, people with Down syndrome need a champion. It's because that community is a perfect target for cowards. If you pick on any member of the black community or any member of the Jewish community or any member of the gay or lesbian community, there's a price you'll pay. And it'll be exacted either in a boycott or any number of ways. It's important for there to be just some iota of accountability when people start throwing the R word around completely irresponsibly.
Earlier this year, John C. McGinley joined the Global Down Syndrome Foundation and Quincy Jones as an international spokesperson.
Quincy's a god. He's an icon. You know, that's the top of the food chain. You know, it doesn't get any better. When I do run across the Quincy Joneses of the world, all it does is empower me and inspire me to be bigger.
Recently, John learned that Down syndrome is the least funded genetic condition by our National Institutes of Health.
It made me feel like a second-class citizen, and it made me feel like that's something that we should be focused on changing. And how I found out about it was through Michelle. Research and Down syndrome have not been bedfellows ever. And so with what we're trying to advocate with the Global Down Syndrome Foundation is let's start making that a component of what we're raising money for. There's no such thing as Down syndrome research. Or if it is, it hasn't registered. And so what the Global Down Syndrome Foundation is trying to do is pioneer research and be a champion of research. I want to be part of that.
John works hard to balance advocacy, work, and family. In 2007, John married his soulmate, Nicole. Together, they are nurturing parents to all 3 of their children, Max and younger sisters Billy Grace and Catalina. John is proud of his family, and especially his son.
That was fantastic.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you. Max loves school. He likes to be with age-appropriate peers. He's now in 8th grade. He's just this big, delicious kid. He's very stubborn. He's got a powerful will. Doesn't fall far from the tree, I know. He digs being with his two sisters, I'll tell you that. And taking responsibility for your two sisters has been a big deal around here. The thing that surprises me most about Max is his capacity to be present. He is uber in the moment, and that blows me away.
John C. McGinley is a champion for people with Down syndrome, but he can't do it alone.
What I think Michelle and I are really pounding the table about, aside from research, is people being treated with just a fundamental level of human rights and civility and compassion. That's where our focus is. That's the stuff we want to champion and move forward. If people would allow themselves to sprinkle a little compassion into the way they treat and regard people with Down syndrome, that would be a home run. That would hit it right out of the park. This is a come as you are invitation. We need you. Come.
For his dedication to improving the lives of people with Down syndrome, the Global Down Syndrome Foundation is proud to present John C. McGinley with the Quincy Jones Exceptional Advocacy Award.